Welcome to another Soccer Down Here 1v1. My name's Jason Longshore, and I'm joined today by Atlanta United centerback Josh Bauer. Josh, how are you today?
I'm good, Jason. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for taking the time for us. I want to get into a bunch of different things with you, but I want to start with just the basic transition from the college game to the pro game. Now, you had a taste of this last fall in Birmingham. Did that help ease the transition a little bit?
I would say definitely. Yeah, I got that kind of unique experience where I was able to sign a USL deal before entering the draft. And for me, that was a learning experience. And just, I think the biggest thing was getting used to the pro environment. And that's everything from, the level of training to just day-to-day life. And, I really came away from that, like taking a lot of positives just in getting that experience. So I'm glad it was able to work out that way.
Yeah, just how crazy was 2020 for you with getting ready for a season at New Hampshire and dealing with COVID and then getting the opportunity to play pro before the draft? Just what was that whirlwind like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, COVID was crazy for everyone. So I had finished my 4 years in the spring of 2020, graduated, and that's kind of when COVID started really coming into effect. So it was just kind of waiting to see what the deal was going to be with the fall season and just playing it really week to week because we were, having Zoom calls as a team at UNH, and we thought we were going to have a season, and then it kind of looked like we weren't going to, and ultimately that season got canceled. And then for me, it was really quick actually. It was just like, okay, what's next? Because I had already got my degree from UNH, and at that point, I wasn't really willing to put off a pro career because I had done my time at UNH, and yeah, I had a season left of eligibility, but it was at that point I didn't know when I was going to be able to use it with COVID. So when the opportunity came to sign with Birmingham, I took it and kind of ran with it. And I think that in and of itself was kind of crazy, and just in the time frame of how it happened. Because I think I found out early August that our season at UNH was canceled for the fall of 2020. And then I think, within a couple weeks, I was down in Birmingham. So it was kind of rapid fire, but exciting at the same time. And yeah.
I'm assuming some of the old New England Revolution connections in Birmingham kind of was the link for you there. How'd you end up there?
Yeah, that's kind of precisely it. My agent, who I hadn't signed with at the time until obviously UNH that season got canceled. But when I signed with him, he was in talks with Jay Heaps, and that New England connection and those ties were there. They had been keeping tabs on me, and at the time they needed a center back to come in because they had been dealing with some injuries. So it was just a quick phone call to Tommy and to Jay, and I was down there within a couple of days after that.
So draft day was a whirlwind, and had a chance to talk to you on draft day with how everything went. Didn't expect to see you picked where you did, but man, you have made the most of it. Just tell us a little bit about how that day felt for you, and then getting the opportunity to come down here to Atlanta.
Yeah, talk about draft day. I mean, in that conversation we had, that seems like forever ago now. But no, I mean, yeah, that was definitely a roller coaster of a day. I think there was a lot of hype around my name going into the draft, and to be honest, I don't know really how I felt about that because it's one thing to have the hype and have the buzz around your name, but then you have to actually live up to that. And in my case, it didn't happen that way. And the drafts are crazy every year. There's people taking higher than what they would have thought and people taking lower than what they would have thought. But at the end of the day, everyone has to go in and fight for a contract and earn a contract. And for me, I kind of used it as a humbling moment, to just say, okay, like you haven't done anything yet. You haven't, maybe there's a reason for this. Maybe there's something left that you still have to prove. And ultimately, like, that's definitely the case. Like, you don't just go in to an MLS preseason and have it made. So I kind of took that like approach to it. And, you know, when I am watching the draft ticker and I see Atlanta has taken me, I'm obviously like relieved and kind of that euphoric moment when you see your name pop up. But, at the same time, I was really excited because I've had previous connections to Atlanta and been down here actually once before. So, I was excited to get to work with in an area I was familiar with, and some of the staff I had kind of known, or at least with the two staff. And yeah, I was really excited and just happy. It was a great moment for me and my family.
And it worked out really well for Atlanta United because you're really a prototypical kind of Atlanta United center back. Did you kind of have a sense of what they look for in center backs before you got here? And did you think that fits your game, or were there areas that you felt like maybe you needed to work on before you got started?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not a finished product. I think that's pretty obvious, but you look at the prime example, Miles Robinson, athletic, can cover ground and read the game super well. Good 1v1 stopping guys, good in all his battles and duels, good in the air, and guys like Anton as well, and Alan Franco coming in. You know, I've kind of tried to make that or emulate that in the way I play, because one of my strengths is athleticism and just exactly what I just talked about. So I think I'm using those strengths to my advantage, but at the same time, I know there's things I need to get better at. That's being my weak foot, ability on the ball, being able to make key passes and passes that really pick apart the opponents. So yeah, that's stuff that I'm still working on day to day in training. But I think initially when I was looking at like the players that were in the system, I thought to myself, this could be a good fit going forward.
Time on the ball, is that a really big difference from your time before Atlanta, just being as involved in build up and being asked to do as much on the ball?
Um, Actually, yeah. So at UNH, we didn't have the strongest strength of schedule. So we enjoyed a lot of the ball in Durham as well. And that's one thing Mark Hubbard likes to do up there, is play good soccer and build from the back and really break teams down. So fortunately for me, I was able to have a little bit of experience with that, and having the ball at my feet. And that's one thing that, from day one of my freshman year of preseason was, okay, this is what you need to get better at, and being comfortable with the ball. And it's one of those things that the more experience you have, the more comfortable you are. So I think COVID kind of gave me I took a little bit of a hit there, because I'm not getting games and I'm not getting that in-game repetitions that are so important. So I think when I come in here and start doing that for the first time in almost a year or so, it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but I think I've slowly um, refamiliarized myself with that part of the game, and am now back to getting better in those areas and using it as a strength.
I think one of the things that's impressed me the most this year, watching you and the rest of the guys with Atlanta United too, is the togetherness of the squad. There's a lot of, I think, love there between you guys, and it shows in the way that the games play out, and especially late in games where it's either going to find a winner or going to find an equalizer. How has that been for you as one of the older guys in the group, helping to build that squad camaraderie?
Yeah, the camaraderie, that's the word I was going to use. That's a big part of it. And I think that separates good teams from great teams, because you can have talent out there as much as you want. But if you guys aren't together and all working towards the same goals and playing for each other and not yourself, then you're not going to get results. So coming from a college environment, that's one thing we were super big on, is just building that culture and getting the guys together. So I think you kind of seen it paid off for us a little bit this year. You talk about our coming back from either finding winners or coming back from a goal down, and I think that's happened 5 or 6 times throughout the year where we've been able to come back and secure a point for us, or go on and win the game. And it's the little things like that, like staying together and building it in training and on the day-to-day basis, that goes a long way, and you see it pay off in games.
So you started the season with the twos with Tony Annan, and now it's Jack Collison. How has the year built from the things and the concepts that you're working on in training?
Yeah, Tony, it was kind of a tough situation just because we knew he was going to be leaving at some point and we didn't really know when. So we're obviously very thankful for the time that we got to spend with him. And then when Jack came in, there's new buzz and new energy, and guys were excited to play, and he really wanted to get after it and press teams. And, that's what we do. You can see it on the field is us just high press and, being brave and going man for man at the back and trusting each other. So I think, that's kind of what we wanted to work on first. And then it was a matter of, being clean and being clinical in the final third and working the attack how we want to do that and ultimately end up scoring goals. So I think the progression has been good from Tony to Jack, and you can kind of see it now. We've been on a little bit of a good run and are in a good position at the moment.
We've talked a lot with the pressing, especially, and how many chances it's created about what happens at the front end of that. I'd like to pick your brain a little bit about what it looks like for you. What are the things that you're focused on in those moments when there's high pressure and that if that's broken, it could be 1v1 or it could be 2v1 that you have to deal with?
Yeah, it can be, a little bit uncomfortable at times. But, when you see guys in front of you who are running and jumping and pressing, you have to be on it as well from the back, because if we're not stepped up and pressed up as well and we miss a jump, then we can end up getting countered. But I think that's one of the things that Jack has done really well is giving us a lot of trust and confidence to put ourselves in those situations. And like we talked about earlier, myself, Caleb Wiley, Bryce, Bradley, Aiden, we're all pretty athletic and can match up man for man and afford to put ourselves in those positions, because 9 times out of 10 we're able to clean it up if we get beat on the initial press.
Who are some of the guys in this group that you spent a lot of time with that you've kind of clicked with off the field?
My roommate is Robbie Mertz, and he's a great guy. Kind of an interesting story. He was giving me rides from the hotel to the training ground when I first came in before I signed. So I built a relationship with him there, and he's been great, great to have as a friend and kind of build that relationship with, because he's come from the college game just like me, has a year on me, and he's been in the USL for 3 years now. So I think being able to bounce ideas off him and just talk with him and kind of confide in him has been amazing for me. It's been a great resource. On top of that, Chris Allen, Phil Goodrum, Aiden, Connor Stanley, it's kind of like all the guys are super close, but those guys are guys who I'm hanging around the most.
I always notice too on social media, you're definitely like shouting out the academy guys. And, is that something new for you to have so many younger teammates that are playing alongside you?
Yeah, I would say that's relatively new for me. I love all those guys. They come in and they work so hard, and having those young guys is really cool, because I look at them and I was like, man, like if I could be in your position when I was your age, like I would kill for that. So getting to know some of them and kind of adopting them as little brothers and whatnot is really what I look forward to. And yeah, when they shine, I want everyone to see it, because they absolutely deserve all the recognition in the world for all the work that they put in. And I'm happy to be the one to push them and lift them up.
It's an exciting week with Pittsburgh looming. Pittsburgh's been very good this season. I'm sure Robbie's pumped about going back home for it. What are some of the things that you guys have looked at when it comes to the Riverhounds that you're worried about for this weekend?
Uh, we've been working recently on playing against their five back. We did a little bit of that today in training and how we're gonna pick them apart for us attacking wise and getting guys to pull out. We know it's going to be a tough environment to play in on the turf in front of a good crowd for them. And then, Robbie's mentioned that it's kind of a narrow field, so we're going to have to adjust to that as well. And it's definitely going to be a challenge. But I think, we have the confidence from our previous run of games that we can go in there and get a result because, we know how important that would be for us.
Really excited to see that one on Sunday. And we'll be doing a watch along on our Soccer Down Here Twitch channel with a lot of people very excited about watching you guys and watching this ride. I do have a couple questions I want to finish up with, non-Atlanta related. Who's your favorite team to watch right now? Like, who's a team that you just enjoy watching their games worldwide right now?
Yeah, I have always said I like watching Man City. I don't really have a prem team or a team that I'm like diehard support or follow. I just honestly like watching good football. So,
Yeah.
Prime Man City is always exciting to watch, and I'm really excited to watch PSG this year. Obviously, with the addition of Messi and Neymar and Mbappe up there, like that's just going to be super exciting to watch.
And who's your favorite center back to watch?
Ramos.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like the villain a little bit?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think that's kind of a role I took on a little bit in college, just having like a little bit of bite to you and a little bit of swagger that you carry. Since coming in here, I don't think I've totally gotten back to that yet. I'm still, figuring out the way the league works and honestly just trying to not get into all that, but just put my head down and do the work and be as good as I can be on the field. But with time and with confidence, I think that the swagger kind of comes back to you, and you can start getting into that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's exciting to watch, and someone who I admire for sure.
See, now when that starts to come out, I'm going to know exactly where it comes from. Now it's going to make all
Yeah.
kinds of sense.
Yeah, maybe it's come out a little bit earlier in the year with some of the questionable refereeing we've gotten, but
Yeah, there's been a little bit of that.
might
We'll
get a little
stop there.
heated here and there.
Yeah, we'll stop there so neither one of us get in trouble.
Yeah,
Josh,
yeah.
thank you for the time, man. I really, really appreciate it. Good luck in Pittsburgh, and we'll be seeing you soon back in Kennesaw.
Of course. Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate it.